Hey gang, Roden here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of Suckerpunch Sunday. And slight apologies if this came out a little bit later than we normally have it released. Such is what happens when you find yourself in a situation where you are having to make do and improvise on the fly from the game you wanted to play this week. But in doing your playtesting for it to get ready to record, you found out that neither version of it worked. So instead, we're going to go in a completely different direction. And we're going to try a game that I remember seeing in most arcades in the mid to late 90s, but never got into it myself. Yes, it is built around being a puzzle game, but it is still a fighting game as well. We are going to play Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. And this is the version from the Sega Saturn from 1996. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, you've been definitely living on another planet, because it has been released so many times in so many variations on so many different consoles in the last near 30 years, 28 years, but who's counting, that it's really hard to go anywhere and not find a variation of it on a console, on a mobile device, anywhere. So, but the other reason why I wanted to try this game out was because it's a game that, for all its popularity and for all the variations that there has been, I've never played it. But I have played Tetris quite a lot, and I've played a lot of Street Fighter 2 in my time. So I figure, what the hey, let's put the two together and see how this game works. Now, as you see in the loading, or in the demo screens, how this game works is it blends the two. You have to play it like Tetris, but you also have to think in terms of what you are doing to impact your opponent. So what we're going to do over the course of the next 25 minutes or so is I'm just simply going to give this a whirl and see what all you have to do to get good at it. Now, like I said, I have played both Street Fighter 2 and Tetris for decades, and honestly, I am better at Tetris than I am at Street Fighter 2, depending on the version of the game. But I prided myself as a kid when Tetris first came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System of really getting good at it. So how this game works is by moving these two-piece blocks around and dropping them down, you will be able to do certain things and unlock certain moves that will do particular unpleasantness to your opponent. But the thing you have to bear in mind is that when you are dropping stuff, those numbered blocks you're seeing on the other side, on Felicia's side of the board, you have to keep those in mind, because those will get dropped on us as she clears out rows as well. And those counter blocks will tick down, and once they tick down to 0, they will turn into regular blocks, which, depending on how high they get stacked, you can get them in absolute tons. And they can really, really make your life unpleasant. I'm already a little bit behind here because I haven't gotten any. That swirling yellow ball is what I need for blue, green, or red. Preferably blue at this point. And as you complete and unlock certain blocks, you'll see the super deformed versions of Ryu and Felicia pull off different moves. Oh, this is going to be epic. Or at least I thought it was going to be. There we go. That's what you want to do. Now, all those blocks are going to count down, and they're going to hit 0. And they're going to turn into regular ones. And now I just made life even more unpleasant for her. Because now she's got to get all of those put away, and that's how you win the game. So, in theory, it looks pretty straightforward. But with each subsequent opponent you take on, the degree of difficulty, as it is in Street Fighter 2, as it is in Tetris, goes up quite a bit. Now, this game was released by Capcom in association with Virgin Active Entertainment for international audiences. And as I said, it came out in arcades in May of 1996 and then was released on the Sega Saturn in Japan in December of 1996. And then was also released alongside the PlayStation 1 in early 1997. And I remember seeing kids, and I remember seeing adults at the arcades that I would visit when I was a teenager. They would go nuts for this game. And I get the appeal of it. I really do. The fact that it is an unconventional take on Street Fighter 2 is a really refreshing thing. Because it's the idea of, let's take something that was super, super popular in the early 90s and go in a completely different direction and see what happens. Ooh, now I'm getting numbered blocks dropped on me, which means I need a hitter here. Ooh, that hurt. And I'm about to get piled on some more. Yeah, this ain't gonna end well. Unless I can clear out a whole crap ton of blocks here in a really small amount of time. Oh, I think I got lucky. And I got a fireball off to even make it a little bit easier. Now this big dime is what I really need. That big diamond will allow me to clear out a big chunk of stuff. This is going to be even better. Drop that down. Oops, that's not how I wanted to go. Oh, here we go. Bang. Except she's cleared out a whole bunch of blocks too. Ooh, I think she got me. Yep, I got knocked out. So you can be going along at a good clip, but you've got to pay attention to what your opponent is doing too. And you got to kind of think outside the box here for what you are needing to pull off. Now, this game apparently borrowed rules from another very, very popular game called Puyo Puyo 2, also called Susai, where it allows the player to counter and negate garbage being sent to the opponents with chains of their own. So very much in like actual Street Fighter 2, you're wanting to stack moves. So you're wanting to stack column breaks and block breaks in a similar way. Because if you're able to put it where you can start dropping vast quantities of counter blocks on your opponent, that's ultimately going to help you out. So right here, she dropped 2 on me. And she's dropping more on me, which is not good. And because you don't get those the trigger balls that knock out these blocks on every drop, it can make life even more difficult. But now we're putting on a good comeback here. Did that double chain. And it's funny because having spent a lot of time seeing people playing games like this, oh, big chain just dropped. Another big chain just dropped, but I got a double diamond coming in. I'm gonna be able to make a big takeout here. That was helpful. Chun-Li is not making it easy for me. But for people who aren't necessarily into classic fighting games like Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat or stuff like that, I get the appeal of something like this. It offers a really unique alternative. Oh! And she got me with a super finish. Drop the Kakosho on me and I lose again. So when the reviews of this game came out, they were all, for the most part, very well received. And again, playing the Saturn version, Electronics Gaming Monthly gave it about a 7.5 out of 10. GameSpot, 7.6 out of 10. Mean Machine Sega gave it an 87%. JeuxVideo, which is JEUXvideo.com, don't take any aspersions out of that. That was the name of the publication. Gave the Game Boy Advance version a 16 out of 20. So pretty much regardless of which platform you played it on, which console you played it on, because the graphics are so cartoonish and they're so easy to be able to follow along with, it is one of those where I can see the ability to transfer it over to multiple platforms like that and not really have a big problem in terms of fidelity and whatnot. Now this should be a big one right here. I'm dropping a few more blocks, which is what I'm needing to do. But I know I'm going to get to a point where she is inevitably going to drop a ton on me. Ooh, did not need that. She is dropping just stuff all over the place. That was helpful. I'm worrying I got more stuff coming down. That was a massive combo right there. And good night, nurse. So I put her down with a super Hadouken. And that's what you have to do. You in a lot of ways, you've got to let those blocks build up and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then if you can get a really big one and manage to get a trigger ball that unlocks all those, there's really nothing your opponent can do about it. So it is a matter of patience and working quickly to establish a column that can grow and be able to be something that you can pay off down the line. And it's hard to do. So he's not wasting any time. But nor am I. So those all turn into yellows, and I need a... Ooh. Okay, Donovan is taking it to me here. This is not good. Oh! Need that counter to go down. Oh, this is going to be massive. Or it should be, hopefully, if I'm lucky. Maybe not. Alright, so dropping more stuff down. I got the middle open, which is good. Check out that side, and I couldn't have done that at a better time. Oh, he may have me here. Or not. Oh no, I think he's got me. Yep, I was getting the wrong trigger balls. And unfortunately, you're at the mercy of what drops on you, and that was always the frustrating thing about games like Tetris, where you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I need this S block, or I need this square block, or I need this line piece, and you're just hoping for the best.
Ready?
All right, Donovan, let me see if I can put you down here. We got the first attack off. Although he's already dropping blocks now. I got a green. I don't need a green trigger. I need... a yellow trigger or a red trigger. I'll take that blue. Oh! Ouch. Oh, and he's dropping more. This ain't good. Oh, I'm about to get swamped. Boom. Yep. Did not have a hope in that one. I started off with what felt like I was okay, but I have to admit this game is it's frustrating in a fun way, because if you follow the whole get good mentality of the greater majority of these types of games, it is the idea of figuring out, okay, how do I start building this stuff up where I know I'm going to have a better opportunity to get the sort of things that will get me better points. So we get the first attack off. Yeah, that's not how I wanted that to go. And you don't really think about it too much, but you just have to be on point with what you're focusing on. Oh, that was unpleasant. And he absolutely throttled me. All right, let's try something else and see if we have any better luck. Let's try Cat. Now, in their review in Sega Saturn magazine, they said Puzzle Fighter's main strength is its World Warrior branding. Without it, it would be just another puzzle game, and a slightly flawed one at that. With it, it becomes an altogether more worthy product. And yes, having the Street Fighter 2 element of this does add a degree of, I don't want to say necessarily swagger to it, but it does make it something where you're like, oh, I'm more inclined to want to play this because I see Ken and Ryu on the cover. Oh, now he's dropping a hell of a lot more blocks, which is not good. There we go. I need a red trigger immediately. And I got one coming. There we go. Boy, did I need that. That got really close. It got really hairy when I pulled off the Flaming Dragon Punch and put Donovan down. So, all right, we're at 23 minutes. We'll try one more. And we're fighting Ryu. So, okay, this will be a good finale to this. I have to admit, I am having fun playing this game. Even though it does not fit the conventional confines of a fighting game, I am treating it very much like if I was playing Street Fighter 2. And that you have to kind of anticipate what your opponent is going to be doing. You've got to watch for their attacks. You've got to watch for their specials. You've got to know when to counter, when to deploy different strategies and different attacks. Oh, we hit me with the Dragon Punch. That's the Hadouken. That was helpful. He's dropping more stuff. Oh, that helped. I can take those reds down. Green's coming. Those blues will clear out in just a second. Oh, but he dropped a whole lot more. That helped. Oh my god. Except Ryu countered it perfectly, as Ryo does. And I could not pull it off, so Ryu got the better of me. But we're at 26 minutes, so that's actually a perfect place to leave it. And that is Super Puzzle Fighter 2 for the Sega Saturn. But again, you can play this on, it was put on the PlayStation 1, it was put on the Dreamcast, it was put on the Game Boy, Windows has it, mobile phones have it. It was updated and reissued on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 in 2007. I'm pretty sure if you go on the PlayStation Store or on Xbox Live or on Steam, there's not a version of this game that you cannot find somewhere. Now, question one, is it a good game? Actually, yes. I am pleasantly surprised by how I feel having spent a half an hour going through and playing this game. Because it is so unconventional in what it gives you, because it all comes down to how well you can play a game like Tetris or Columns or all the variations of the original Tetris that have been made in the last 35, 40 years. But if you think about it in terms of a fighting game, and understanding that your ability to get bigger and bigger gems and get those breaks equates to pulling off bigger and bigger special moves for your character, it changes the complexity of the game entirely. And I think that's really cool. Is it a game, again, this isn't a game I'd ever played before. And playing a half an hour in, I can tell you unequivocally, it's a game I'm going to play going forward. I think that, you know, the critiques of saying that it would be a lesser game if it didn't have the Street Fighter 2 connection to it, I can see that. But by the end of the 80s, with Tetris proving so popular, Nintendo, for example, was already looking for ways to update that with games like Dr. Mario, which took the same general concept as this, but was with a Mario thing. So it's not that Capcom reinvented the wheel. It was that they took easily their most popular franchise at the time, bar none, and put it in a slightly more approachable package, again, for people who may not have been super into playing the actual fighting game. But if you can get good at this game, I don't see any reason why it would be a similar feeling to back when we were waiting in line to be the next one up to get slaughtered at our local Street Fighter 2 cabinets, or our Mortal Kombat 2 cabinets, or stuff like that. Because the people who figure out the ways to make this game work for them and to just crush their opponents, you'd walk away with a similar feeling of, oh my god, I gotta go home, I gotta do my homework, I gotta get really, really good at this game if I'm ever gonna really get anywhere with it. So, all things considered, is it a game I can recommend? Absolutely. And it's a game that I would, again, I don't see any reason why they would stop making games like this now. If anything, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 took that original Dr. Mario concept from the NES, improved on it, gave it a really great presentation. I love the graphics. I like that they're cartoonish. I like that it doesn't take itself so seriously, and you can just sit down with somebody, or you can just play by yourself and just have fun with it. I am, of the, now what, this is our 60th episode in this series. Very, very few times have I been genuinely surprised by a fighting game. This is one of the times that I have been, in the best way possible. So yeah, I definitely give this one my seal of approval. Not that that means a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but I am glad that even though we wanted to originally play virtual on today, and for technical reasons with realizing that you have to be able to set up the original Virtual On the Saturn to play 2 players, which we don't have, and the Dreamcast version of Virtual On, you need 3 hands. Eventually, we will get to those games, but we were rushing, so we were like, let's just throw this one up there and see what we can do. And I'm glad we did. So that again is Sucker Punch Sunday for this week. If you've been enjoying the content, you know what to do. I don't have to explain it to you further. I do hope you guys tuned in to Sports Saturday yesterday, where we are carrying on with our great what if scenario. What if we were able to create the New England Patriots dynasty of the early part of the 21st century if Tom Brady never existed? We are now 9-1 in that season, and we got a big comeback win yesterday, which was good to see. And also, be sure to tune in to our ongoing playthrough of Super Robot Wars 3 from the Super Nintendo from 1991. Again, I said from the outset, it's not one that a whole lot of people are really going to probably get into. It was a risk either way. We could keep playing the same games that everybody else is playing right now. We could be playing Black Myth Wukong, or we could be playing, everything that is really out and about at the moment, or we could go back and play a franchise that is super popular globally, but was never released in the US. And that was why we wanted to highlight that series. So we're going to keep putting those episodes out. We'll have a new one up tomorrow, and that will be released on time, I promise you, because we've already recorded it. And we'll go from there. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads. Our own Electrocade help spread the word about us as we continue to grow our channel and make it bigger and better. One thing on the social media front, we have gotten really, really lax in updating stuff, and that's something we've gone back and had to think about. So we're having to play catch up on both Instagram and Threads for getting posts up there. But with how much Threads particularly has taken over from the cesspool formerly known as X, and that's as far as I'm going to go in it, now is the time for us to really, really dig in and start getting that built back up. So we're going to be working on that over the course of September. So watch that space if you're on Threads. Hopefully you are. And to keep an eye and an ear out for when we're posting stuff there. But that's it. We've done enough talking for 30 minutes for a Sunday. My name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this Sucker Punch Sunday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming. We'll talk to you tomorrow as we are carrying on again with Super Robot Wars 3. Bye.